Once more, I want to welcome you guys in this conference. My name is Simon Mukete. I am moderating all the way from Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon. And before I go on receiving and presenting our guests and panelists for today, I just want to throw like that the topic, what we'll be talking on today. The importance of human resources in the key sectors of the Pan-African economy as technology, industry, and agriculture. So as our panelists, and I also want to thank, before we go, I also want to thank the Pan-African job portal, that's IQ Firm, for making this possible. As they always, as a job panel, as a Pan-African job panel, I think they are really on their mission also to try to look for solutions and also to bring out solutions with influencers all over Africa to try to find a way for us to solve the very, very vital and serious problem of human capital and job solution in Africa. So I'm going to present our panelists so that we can know each other in a very better. So please, I will start with the first, our first panelist. He's in Egypt, Minister Alejandro Evuna. Mr. Alejandro is a test secretary of the Embassy of Equatorial Guinea in Egypt, in charge of political and commercial. Minister Alejandro Evuna, you can just raise up your hands, let us know that you are here. Thanks very much. And our second panelist is Mr. Chris Chukwuemeka. I think that's it. Manager at Kenmari Service Limited. Is it there with us?
Yeah.
Chris, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also Mr. Giovanni Ebuera, General Director of Legacy IT. Is he there with us? I think we're still waiting on him. I think so. Okay. We also have Mr. What's his name? Okay. We also have Mr. Marcos Ngogo, who is the Deputy General Director of HITRE. I think I didn't make a mistake. Is that? Thank you, sir. So as I said, my name is Simon Mukete. I am very, very honored to be a moderator today. I'm a senior consultant in public relations. So I think I will just leave each of you. We start with Alejandro. Just give us a brief presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, IQ Farm and HRU Forum for having us here today, and especially me for inviting me to take part in this very important panel, where we are going to be discussing the importance of technology in the key sectors of the African economies. So I'm very glad to be here today, and I hope it's going to be a very fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. So I'll call on Mr. Chris Chukwuemeka to just give a brief presentation. Thanks.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where part of the world you are. My name is Chris Chukwuemeka. I'm the managing partner of Kenmari Services in Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm hoping that today we'll have a fruitful discussion on the topic we are going to discuss today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So Mr. Giovanni Ebuera. Please, Mr. Giovanni, you have the floor for a short presentation. Yeah. Introduction. It's not there, so we go on Mr. Marcus Ngoko. Please, you have the floor.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So, I thank Roxana and his enterprise to invite Hitke to this panel, and I hope that I will give my contribution. So, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Without any waste of time, we're going to move to the first part, which is of the topic, which is about technology. As we all know, in Africa, technology has been revolutionized many sectors. A good example of this is the mobile money technology, which has greatly revolutionized financial services sector in Africa. However, in spite of all these improvements, there are still many economy in Africa that are yet to have a breakthrough in this area and other areas in technology. So this is the question. What are some of the factors required to provide and enable technology environment in Africa? I will start with Mr. Alejandro, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think when we want to talk about technology in Africa, the most important aspect is the political engagement, the political importance our leaders give to technology. Because without their engagement, without their will, Africa cannot advance technologically. So we have to know also the value of the indigenous input into the technological aspect of Africa. Because if we want to develop a technological sector in Africa and we are still depending on importation, I think we are going to be lacking way behind. So one of the important aspects is that, as I said already, is the political will. Because I'm glad that you mentioned the mobile money, which is in West Africa. I think is one of the major sectors there. But if we don't have the proper infrastructure on the ground, we can develop technology in Africa. So the mobile money, for example, in our parts of Africa, in Central Africa, we still see that technology, basic internet services are still a major problem. And if we don't have all those infrastructures in hand, we can advance technologically in Africa. And if we don't have technology in Africa, the other sectors can follow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for this very brilliant answer. I'm going to move the same question. Let me just repeat the question. I don't know if you got the question. Let me just take the question all over, and then we'll see what are some of the factors required to provide and enable technological environment in Africa. I will go to Mr. Chris, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Like my brother Aledo said, we need strong leadership to drive this technology in Africa. And of course, like we're talking about the mobile money. If you look at the case of Safaricom in Pesa in Kenya, is one of the major business in East Africa and at large in Kenya. So we need strong leadership to drive this mobile technology in Africa. And we need, like you said, we need infrastructure. Take, for example, a case of Ethiopia. They have only one Etios Telecom. So we need to open up the space, need to bring more investors, need to bring more people into the place, make government should be able to do enabling law for them, for investors to come in and invest in the sector. Of course, you know, in the case of Nigeria, before the 1999 democracy, most people didn't have access to mobile phone, but of course, a lot of people have access to mobile phone now, and the digital penetration of technology. So we need to ensure that we open up the space, get people to more access to mobile technology. This will be the future. This will also help us to drive the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement we are hoping to do. It is going to help us, it's going to generate revenue, and we need to see all these things as business, more importantly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. And I'll move on the same question to get really, because we know we have a very, very, very solid Pan-Africanists, those who believe in what Africa can do today on the panel. So we really want to get the best out of you guys. So I'm going to ask the same questions to Mr. Giovanni. Mr. Giovanni. Mr. Giovanni is not there. Sorry, I'll ask the same questions to Mr. Marcos from Hatred. We know this is very important because you are in the service provider sector. So
of course,
on you to give us, you are playing a very vital role so far as this is concerned in Equatorial Guinea and in Africa. So please.
Yeah, I think it's a very important question. So first, you will forgive me because you will suffer to understand me because my English is too bad. So I will try to explain. I will try to do my best in this panel. All right?
We appreciate it. So, we appreciate it.
So I would like to start by mentioning some important case and factors in promoting a technological environment. All right, factors that should not be overlooked at all. All right, one of these factors, I think Alejandro mentioned it, is internet. All right, that's essential. That is indisputable. All right. The second factor is achieve affordable prices. All right. It is essential that prices are available to everyone. You see, another aspect, and is the last one, I think, is the coverage everywhere. All right, because you can achieve if you are operate in the last corner in the country and not to have coverage. That's not possible. You see, so those three factors is in terms of key and important factors. All right, so a question arises. All right.
Yes.
That question is, what if you enjoy all these key factors that I mentioned, and there are still economies that are not integrated?
Yes.
That's the way I think that an extremely important factor will come into the play, you see, which is the culture of the technology sector. In that sense, the promotion of the culture that technology is not an enemy, you see, but rather it helps and it provides us many good things.
Yes, please.
And the thing is that you have to agree to change, and that is the aspect that the government must push. Alejandro said that the government must push the culture in the technology, you see. And above all, they have belief in technology. They have belief in it, that it's not an enemy. So, in my opinion, we are not, I'm going to finish, we are not going to lie ourselves. You see, a high percentage of members of our governments is still linked to the traditional media. You see, for to conclude, for a favorable technological environment in Africa, the minimum condition is internet connection, and the technological culture must be met.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Marcos. I think, Mr. Alondro, you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to chip in some few words regarding what Mr. Marcos said. I think I have to agree with him in some key points that our leaders still think the technology is against them, because as you know in the Middle East and North Africa, the revolution started via internet, via the social media. So for most of our leaders, the thing, putting laws and mechanisms and that regulate the technology in Africa is one day is going to backfire them. But on the contrary, I think technology, we have seen that in the Western world. I had to make the comparisons, but in the Western world, all the economies right in the Western world right now is technology, because without technology, we are not functional. So I think I have to agree with Mr. Marcos, him being a player in the sector. He know how we can move these sectors forward. And I also want to tell him, they are in the sectors, they have to help the government also to put better laws in place to ease these problems we are facing in Africa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chris?
Yeah. No, just addition, just data protection laws. You know, to encourage data protection law is very important. That will also help investors to know that, look, if I make an investment here, the data will be protected. Our data will be protected. And regulation, enable regulation, legal framework for you to say, this is, if we're going to do this, this will happen. And again, and more so, we must open up the space. Like Marcos said, it's not against anybody. It's for us to move our continent forward. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. I think you all responded brilliantly. Without any waste of time, we're going to move on to the second question. But before I ask the second question, please just let me give you a very brief presentation before I get to the question. To reflect on the behavior, that the continent's productive organizations are adopting with their human resources in the face of the constant dynamics of technological change that the world is facing. To reflect on the behavior that the continent's productive organizations are adopting with their human resources in the face of the constant dynamic of technological change that the world is experiencing. Question: what efforts are needed to guarantee? What effort are needed to guarantee the learn and adaptation of the continent's human resources to these new environments? So what efforts are needed to guarantee the learning and adaptation of the continent's human resources to this new environment. I will start again with Mr. Alejandro. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. To answer this question, we have to come back to the previous question where we spoke about technology. Because if we don't have all this technological in place, the world is changing. Right now, we are having this seminar via Zoom. Without the technology, this would be impossible. So I think we need to adapt to the changes, because the only constant thing in life is change. So the government needs to come in. First of all, we need to invest a lot of money into human resources development, because we see, even if you put the technology in place and you don't have the human capacity to drive that technology, it's going to be also a waste. So we need to put resources in place to develop the human capacity so that drive can go through the other sectors of the economy. And also, one of the important we need to also do, as we also is to put regulations, because everything is important when it's well regulated, put in place, so that we don't have this constant battle and we don't have these gaps that, oh, to do this, there's no legal framework, because also it's very important, the legal aspect of everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I will go to our landed brother, Mr. Chris.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We are where we are now. Of course, COVID has come to stay for a while. We're in the new normal. We need to encourage people to work from home. Organization needs to encourage people to work from home, learn it. So I just want to share a bit of our organization. Prior to this, we encourage people. We started to do a 1 day off work from home 1 day before this came. And so we transited from working from the office to working independently at home, remotely at home. So this is what we are going to get used to for a long time to come. Like you said, we can't talk about this without talking about technology. So if we don't have good technology, we can't be where we are. And also in our firm, we also encourage what we call localization. So localization means where you have an expert having to work on a project locally. So in that way, it helps to facilitate some of these project HR issues and learning environment. So as long as we are here now, we need to find a way around here and manage the situation where we need to ensure that this learning environment is conducive. Of course, internet, for us to help us to achieve what we want to achieve. This is going to be our way of life for a long time to come. We need to find a way around it to get used to it and to ensure that everything works well. Some of our projects we have in some countries, they are running because we involved the locals. And I have a rare opportunity of visiting almost all the 5 regions in Africa. And to be honest, their diversity. We have seen a lot. What is obtainable in Equatorial Guinea might not be obtainable in Juba. Okay, affordable internet, and like in Juba, I learned to wash my hands every 5 minutes. I mean, that's a cultural difference. And we need to see this as a new normal, and we have to ensure that we use the internet to drive our learning environment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. I think, as you know, the program runs runs this way, where we have the three sectors, main sectors. So we have the technological sector, we have the industrial sector, and we have the agricultural sector. So we're going to move to some questions from the next sectors. So I think, are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good. So so we talked about, let me just give a brief talk about it. We have trained technological and professional manpower in agriculture. So the impact of technology. Okay, so the amounts and quality of trained technical and professional manpower in agriculture is critical in agricultural development. However, this is a very scarce resource in Africa because training takes years to complete and it's costly, as we all know. The FAO reports that the supply of trained technical and professional manpower in agriculture will be problematic over the next decades. That's in Africa. So the question is, what are some of the measures some African economies are taking to ensure an increase in ready supply of trained technical and professional personnel in agriculture? So I can start with, should we change this time? Maybe, yeah. I think Mr. Alejandro is always ready to take the lead. So what do? We go with Alejandro again?
Okay. Mr. Marcos, we start this time.
I think we start this time with Mr. Marcos. Mr. Marcos, please.
No. So what I have to say in this question is it's difficult to me say something about this area, you know, because I really don't have no experience to really say this area. I can say things that I take to internet, but seriously, I cannot say something really in this area. So that's my opinion.
Okay, so I will go with Mr. Chris.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for the question, I'm sure you know that agriculture is a driver of economic transformation. It's very important to understand that agriculture can help Africa leapfrog most of the continent. But until we see agriculture as a business, until we see agriculture as a means of earning revenue, we're not going to take it seriously. And of course, the FAO's report on professionals. If you have a project like what we do, always ensure we have locals involved in the project. In that way, we do the TOT, we transfer knowledge, we transfer technology, we ensure that they are carried along the line to ensure that they understand the project, okay? And ensure that they understand the project, we need to find a way to think outside the box on this agricultural thing. We are not seeing it yet as a business. We still see it as a way of life. Oh, we are Africans, we have to go to the farm. No, we need to see it as a business. We need to ensure that we manage the whole value chain of this business. And more importantly, ensure that we are involved in project. More importantly, our leaders should also understand that at the time of taking on technical assistance or foreign aid, ensure we have a percentage of the locals involved in this project. We cannot leave 100% to the aid. We ensure that we have a percentage so that after the project, after the closeout of the project, the locals can carry on and start implementation where the necessary gaps are. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chris. Anything, Mr. Alexandro?
Yes, thank you. I think what Chris says is very important. Africa, we need to stop seeing agriculture or as an only means of life, but we need to take agriculture serious as a business. Because if you look from the Maputo conference, the Maputo Convention on Agriculture in Africa, where our leaders, they agree that at least they are going to invest, they are going to put each year 6% of the national budget into agriculture. Till today, we haven't seen that. And also in 2014, on the Malabo Declaration on Agriculture, there were a lot of things that they say they were going to do to boost the agricultural sector in Africa. Till today, we haven't seen, because in the Addis Ababa conference in 2007, they say they are going to invest at least 1% of their GDP into agriculture. Only 4 African countries till today, they have been able to match that. So after the Maputo conference, they created the CEADP. The CEADP, who is in charge of everything that has to do with agricultural development in Africa. So till today, how many African countries have been able to match the declaration's goals? Only few. So basically, Africa, we are still depending on importation even to feed ourselves, because each year we spend at least 35 billion in importation of food products in Africa. So until we look into this matter of agriculture as a way of moving forward, we are not going to be able to do anything in this sector. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. So I think we just realized how the long way the journey we have to take so far as agriculture is concerned, the involvement of the African countries. So I think you guys did a good illustration of the importance our states have to put so far as this factor is concerned, to move from really a life stuff to a business more like agricultural procedures and factors. So thanks a lot for this segments. So we're going to move into another questions. Before I move to the questions, with your permission, please, let me just do a brief presentation. The President-elect of the African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina Akinkunmi, has been a champion of the theme transforming agriculture to create wealth. The key driver is a strong political will, which you guys have just been precising, especially Alejandro and Chris. So the question is, what are some of the political benchmarks in the area of agriculture African economies can adopt in order to create wealth? I don't know if you got my questions. So, okay, I think Mr. Marcos, please. Mr.
Yeah,
Marcos.
thank you. I have a few words in these questions. I will confine myself to an essential political benchmark, that is custom tariffs. You see, in this sense, that if my country has the resource to produce, for example, onions, tomatoes, why and what for import onion, tomatoes in my country? I consider that this phenomenon of import instead of strengthen the sector, sink the sector. Now, if the country has conditioned by the free trade, I think the increase of import custom tariff will be a benchmark aspect that I think in some way will strengthen the agricultural system.
Okay, thanks a lot. I think, I hope we didn't, trying to find Mr. Chris. I think we lost him. I hope he'll be back soonest. So, are you okay to take on the question, Alejandro? Mr. Alexandro?
Yes, thank you. I think one of the most important things we African governments need to do to boost this agriculture in Africa is to achieve or progress meetings and targets, because without those targets, they need to set targets. For example, they said by the African Union say by 2025 they want to eradicate hunger in Africa. How are we going to eradicate hunger in Africa? They have to lay down a lot of regulations that will help African economies develop the agricultural sector. Without that, without those policies, without meeting those targets, it's impossible that African economies can diversify, because it's also very important, because especially countries like mine, Equatorial Guinea, we depend 98% of our GDP is from oil. So and with that, we need to take money from the oil sector and invest in agriculture and invest in technology, because technology also helps to develop the agricultural sector. So without linking all those three components together, for me, I still think African economies haven't done enough in terms of agriculture in Africa. For example, as I said, in the Maputo Declaration, they created the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development programs, and that there have been meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings, and then we have the NEPAD who deals with all those things. But at the end of the day, what are the solutions that our leaders are putting in place to develop these sectors? We need to invest more. At least, as they say in Maputo, at least 6% of our budget needs to go into the agricultural sector. For me, I think we have not done enough. We still have to do more so that the African agriculture sector can develop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Hello.
Yes, is that Chris?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Chris. Okay, I'm glad you're back, man. I'm very happy to see you back. So I don't know, you got the question or you want me to take it again?
Can I take it again?
Okay, please. So we were on creating wealth from agriculture in Africa. So here we go. The president-elect of the African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina Akiwumi, has been a champion of the theme, transforming agriculture to create wealth. The key driver to this is a strong political will. I think that's what all you guys have been talking about when we were talking about the technology. So here's a place. What are some of the political benchmarks in the area of agriculture Africans' economies can adopt in order to create wealth?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said earlier on, African leaders need to see agriculture as a business. I want to read a few facts from the President Adesina himself. Africa spends 35 billion a year on food importation. Okay, by 2020, we're going to spend $110 billion by 2020 to import food in Africa. So if the leaders don't see it as a business, there was a problem. So they can do agricultural extension, provide advisory service to local farmers, empower local farmers, like Andrew mentioned, invest in agriculture, invest a percentage of the GDP in agriculture. And I'm able to tell most of the leaders I've met, I've told them our over-independence on oil is running out. We need to diversify most of the economies in Africa. And the fastest way to do it is to invest in agriculture, spend good money, and enact enabling law to allow the private investors to come in and make the right investment in the sector. Like Marcus mentioned, take away the custom tariff, and thankfully the AfCFTA might address all these issues, hopefully, and ensure that whatever you are doing, have a focus, have a plan, and get into it. Like that, I was in a Zoom meeting with the Spanish MFA, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and she spoke on how they've developed their economic recovery plan. We should also have agricultural development plan, ADP, where every country will have their plan and systematically get it done. And also, this plan can be shared among the different regs, of course, like the COMESA, the ECOWAS, the EAC, and the various regs, where they can share ideas and see how this can be implemented. Have farm settlement, have clusters of farmers, control the value chain. Control the value chain and ensure that there's a plan for us to get to where we're going to get to at the time. For example, if we have oil and nobody buys, what do we fall on? No more foreign exchange. We are going to be stuck. So AU, the regs, have to make the right investment. More importantly, have to ensure that all the African countries are all trying to ensure that they create a proper business model for agriculture in Africa. Thank you.
Please, after that very brilliant presentation.
I also think
Go on, please.
I also think it's very important that because right now some of African countries are still taxing the local producers and subsidizing the consumers. So that's also very important. Those that produce what we consume are the ones who the government tax, and then they subsidize for us to eat. That does not also encourage the local producers, because we need to also potentiate the rural economies so that they help develop nations. Because it's also very important. It's not always trying to make policies that will benefit on the benefit of the end users without also helping the producers. It's also very important. The government needs to look into that.
Yeah. Is it okay? Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for your brilliant contribution. We are going to move to the last segment. Gentlemen, we still have about 21 minutes, so we'll try before we enter the answer section. So the union between technology and agriculture. So that's where we are today. So how do we move with these two together? We know it's very important. Elsewhere, you know how it is. Technology helps to really drive the agricultural sector. In Africa, we're still looking into that. So the union between technology and agriculture, the increasingly binding character of technology in almost every sector now makes it almost indispensable for agriculture to be an avenue of development without its union with technology. So I drive my question, please. in Africa, is Africa enthusiastic about using modern technology in agriculture processes? That's the first question. Okay, so is Africa enthusiastic about using modern technology in agriculture? Maybe we move from once we have 3 questions like this, maybe we'll drive on with the first one first, and then we'll move to the next one. So since Mr. Alexandro is up front already, maybe you take the floor first. Or Marco, please, Marcos. Mr. Marcos, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I think Africa should be excited. That is a yes or yes, you see?
Yes.
For me, it's a yes or yes. Change is imminent. The life advance and the technology came with that advance. You see, it's a yes or yes. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one.
Yes, our economies are still basically very, very, very underdeveloped. So, and one of the reasons is because few African countries have formulated policies in terms of science and technology. If you put policies in place that will help you to achieve your goals and objectives, you can do a lot in terms of technology in the agricultural sector, because basically our methods of agriculture in Africa are still very, very, very indigenous methods of agriculture. We need to invest more, and we need to link technology with the agri to, you know, to create more value to the economy. I think that's one of the things I can think about this question right now.
Okay. Okay. So we move on to, with your permission, we move on to the second questions in this segment. What future do you see between technology and management capacities for a more intensive and methodized agriculture and support system? Yes, please. Mr. Chris?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. The use of cutting-edge technology, okay, for the technology and management capabilities, cutting-edge technology, strong management to drive this technology, adequate workforce. We need to make agriculture attractive to the young people. We need to ensure that agriculture is very attractive and not looking at as if it's not a professional job. We need to ensure that we make it attractive to the people, ensure that we get people on board to see what we can do with this aspect of technology. And of course, I think we will emphasize on it, also political will, of course. Strong leadership, visionary leader, to ensure we provide enabling environment for these things to thrive. Else, we're all going to talk and no solution. And you see, another thing I always keep saying in Africa, we can only provide our own solution to our own problem. We can't use an imported solution for a local case. No, you can't. So every country in Africa is peculiar. We need to look our case by case basis, develop our model, see how these things are going to work locally, and see how we're going to use our local technology, local cultural diversity to change the environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we move on the move to the.
Can I?
Mr. Alejandro, Marcos?
No, Mr. Marcos.
So really, it is unimaginable to visualize the agriculture of tomorrow without the integrated system of technological management. I really don't see that picture, really. You see? Instead, I see a continent turned into an economic power, reducing the imports and feeding all the world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think as Chris say, I have to agree with him. We need political and economic actions to move forward. We also is also very important that we professionalize the careers in agriculture. It's all to make this sector very attractive to young people, and also it will also help us. It is communications. When you link technology with agriculture, it is communications, and it make that data analysis efficient, and it also brings security to practices. So we need to also link all those things together so that we make all the sector, the economic sector, very attractive to young people, as Chris said, because we have these solutions. We only need the political will to bring them forward.
Thank you, gentlemen, and it's 3:54 p.m. in local time, so we have a few minutes, about 6 minutes. So we go on the last part of this question. So it reads: what are some of the practical steps Africa has taken to upgrade human resources with the appropriate technology for an increase in productivity in the agricultural sector?
Thank you. I think these questions we basically giving answers in the previous questions you asked us. We are still think, and I still believe the African continent still needs to do more to advance technology into the agriculture sector in the continent. Our governments need to really sit, talk, think, and then bring solutions. Also, the people, the government needs to bring the people along to know these things. Because our government don't only need to consult us when it comes to referendums, when it comes to changing constitutions. The government needs to bring us along when it comes to development of key sectors of our economies. Because at the end of the day, the people are the ones that decide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Mr. Chris?
Okay, thank you. I just want to run through what I have here. One, AfCFTA, Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement. That is the future of Africa. That is what we need, okay? We have to sensitize the people on these things, to how to upgrade these human resources. But going forward, we have not really done much. We have not done much, but we are hoping that this can be part of the economic revolution in Africa. And I like to say this. We also need to start the slogan, eat what you grow. use various technology to drive this. And we need to do more and talk less. We need to do more. We need to come together, put our hands on the deck, and get things done. We are losing time. Upscale manpower, right people at the right place. Ensure that these people are on board to drive this forward. Else, for 10 years' time, we'll still be where we are if nothing's been done. It's going to be all going around in a circle. And if we don't do the right things, we'll not get the right results. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's okay, Mr. Marcos?
Well, I consider that the college have spoken it clearly, so I have no. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. So maybe before I take, as we know the program is, before I take we have to start the debate from the moderator. We have some few questions that are coming in from our participants. So I think let me just throw the two questions that we have. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have the first questions that we have is technology is very vital, especially in this generation for a sustainable agricultural production, especially with the change in global climate. Technology is a must-use tool. However, there is a lack of awareness and training on the use of technology in some African countries. My question is this: how can we better engage local people to embrace appropriate technology that suits their availability resources? But do I repeat the question or it's okay? Let me just take it.
I think we got
the question is, how can we better engage local people to embrace appropriate technology that suits their availability resources? Thanks. Okay, please.
Okay, I think if I may say something in regarding this question, I think we need to foster an agricultural growth commonly seen as a core strategy for overall development in Africa. We need to also, as I already said, bring the people along, sensibilize the people, give them the tools, the capacity, and so that they can develop this. They can learn these new keys of technology to develop their agriculture. Because without bringing them along, because it's not enough for the government to acquire all this and then do them with themselves. That's when the private sector also comes in, because the private sector is also very important when we talk about development. The private sector needs to bring also people on board, train them. Training is very important, because without training, you can acquire all the technology in the world you want. If you don't have training, you don't bring people on board, all that is going to be a waste. I think that's what I can say regarding this question.
Any offer from Mr. Chris or Mr. Marcos?
Yes, what I think that the government has a lot of work to do. You see, he has to impulse the sector. Maybe not to buy issues, but the politicals. You see, they are important. So the support of the government is really important. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Marcos. Mr. Chris?
Yeah, simple. The people need to be trained and trained and trained. Training is essential and important. This is where you transfer skills, transfer whatever to the people for them to understand this is how these things should be done. So we cannot overemphasize on training, on human capital development, on making people better. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we go on the next question, with your permission, please. Yes. Do you think COVID-19 is an eye-opener to how we manage our economies, focusing on self-reliance in all sectors, including agriculture? You guys, you get that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So.
So I think as we already said here, this without a doubt, this COVID-19 is an eye-opener, because from the start of this pandemic till today, we have seen how far behind we are in all sectors. So now it's time for the government and the people to go back to the drawing board and start new strategies, how to move forward after the COVID-19, because life can never be the same after this pandemic. And this pandemic is not going to end tomorrow. So we have time now as people to come together, work together, look for methods to better, because now we have not seen what are the major problems we have in all the sectors, not only agriculture. Because with all this pandemic, we also realize how little we invest in health in Africa. So I think it's a very important question, and I thank the person that asked the question for asking us this question, because it's very, very important that the governments and people go back to the drawing board and find new strategies to move forward after this pandemic. Thank you.
Thanks. Should I move on to the next one, or anything to add from somebody? Okay, thanks. Okay, questions for Mr. Chris. The practical steps would you propose we take in Africa to make agriculture an attractive profession? Question to Mr. Chris.
Okay. One, we need to see it as a business, number one. We need to ensure that people who engage in agriculture are not being seen as people who are time wasters. So we need to see it as a business. We need to ensure that the revenue is there, but more importantly, the government also needs to come in, step in, encourage the private sector to make an investment. And I can only make an investment if there are enabling law, if there is ease of doing business in the country to make an investment. So this is the only way it can be attractive for professionals to come into agri. And of course, there are a few agribusiness startups in Africa. Few of them, aerobotics in South Africa, Faro Mobile in Nigeria, Pro Agric in Cameroon, and Ditech in Zambia. So these are the ways we can make it more attractive. And a lot of people want to come in and not see it as a demeaning profession for them to come in. And until we do that, a lot of people will not show up for agriculture. And in terms of mechanized farming, access to finance, market access, technology, again, this is the only way we can make it attractive.
Thank you, Chris. Just to say, a question was from Akuna, and the first question for that Alessandro responded was from Shadrach Saili. So I move on to the next questions. what is your opinion regarding the importance of industry in African economic development? What is your opinion regarding the importance of industry in African economic development? Thank you.
I think one of the major keys in the agricultural sector is the industry, because as Chris said, we need to eat what we grow. Because if we don't develop what we produce, we are still going to depend. We are still going to be depending on importation. Because, for example, as a farmer, after you bring your cassava or your plantain or your bananas from the market, you sell what you can sell, and what you can sell, you take them to the industry to process, and then then that process goes back to the consumer. So I think without a proper industrial sector, we can also develop the agriculture. That's why we say the government needs to invest, and invest. Because without investment, there's nothing we can do. We can develop the agricultural sector, we can develop the industry without adequate investment. Not only from the government, also from the private sector.
We have a lot of, it's very interesting. We have a lot of participants pushing in with their questions. So it means that you guys have been very, very interesting to them. So that's all on your credits, man. So thanks. So we have a question from Pedro Luis Kisongo. Good afternoon. As I was following the section concerning agriculture, Mr. Alejandro and Mr. Chris said investments should be made, and I agree. Since many years ago, at meetings like the ones taken at the African Union, the same things is said. My question is it possible to take some measurements to governments that they do not achieve at least 30% of the objectives fixed? So the question is it possible to take some measurements to the governments that they do not achieve at least 30% of the objectives fixed?
I think at the end of the day, let us not forget, even if we belong to regional and international organizations, let us not forget that each country is a sovereign state. So there's no way a body or a regional body or international body can take proper actions to government if they are not achieving certain objectives. So I think the most important thing is the government itself or the country itself to visualize the importance of these sectors or the importance of these things to their people. Because without that, we can't talk about development. Development is not only building the nation or in terms of infrastructural development. Development is having all the basic necessity for the well-being of your people. So I think at the end of the day, Mr. Pedro Luis, it's impossible for actions to be taken against government who they don't meet the objectives in place. It's only a matter of fact or a matter of time so that they start taking or start seeing the importance of agriculture in the development. The development of their nation.
Okay, thanks a lot. As we have many questions, so we answered the questions from Pedro Luis. We also thank all our participants who are really giving their best to make sure that they are part of the event. So I think we have to really congratulate them for this. We're very impressed with wonderful question and answers put in place by IQFirm, the Pan-African platform. So we have Pedro Edu Nkulu, who says, why is there lack of interest from some African governments in investing in agriculture and when their GDP allows them to do so, and there is a focus only in the oil sector. So we're speaking on that.
Okay, can I speak on that?
I will give the floor.
Sandro.
Okay, can I speak on that? Okay, it's simple. Oil is a cash for now.
Yes.
So you don't need much. You don't need much investment. I mean, you come in, you pump some few barrels, you put on a vessel, and you ship. And of course, most times you have a buyer or you have existing contract. But you see, agriculture and technology, they are long-term investment. We don't really have patience for that many times. We don't have patience for long-term investment. So this African government, so now there comes what we call, you have to be a visionary leader for you to understand that, look, technology, agriculture, they are long-term investments. So if you don't make the investment in these two sectors, guess what will happen? COVID-19 comes, there's a little shake-up in the oil industry, everything collapsed, no backup. So as long as they don't see technology and agriculture as a long-term investment, it's not going to happen. Oil is now the infrastructure for oil, the refinery, the rigs, everything is already there. So he or she comes in, and of course he has been briefed. He knows that this thing is already existing. He or she is not going to make an investment in other sectors because he knows that this cash is already waiting. And he knows something about African government. Once they are in, everything stops. They focus on what brings in the money now.
Mr. Chris?
Yeah?
Yeah, so okay, so we'll move on the next question. Thank you. The next question is from Mariam Obiangeli. Her question goes, how do we encourage or make government bring back farm settlements? In the past, it used to be there, but oil made the government look away. I think we just said it. So yeah. So who will take this one?
So I think Chris have already answered that question. The oil is the new gold. So you see, for most of our nations, is the easiest ways to get money, because at the end of the day, let us not forget, in the oil sector, the multinational, they bring the cash, they develop, they put on the infrastructure. Our government do very little in developing that sector against the agriculture, where the government needs to put mechanisms, finance, human capital development, etc., etc. So that's why the government is looking at the oil sector right now, which and they forget without putting proper mechanism in place, they make a lot of people go into the informal sectors. And with the informal sectors, the government receives very little resources, because you can tax the informal sectors.
Yeah. Any other response? Thanks, gentlemen. So we already have a lot of questions coming in. So Africa, just as a contribution, I think more. Africa needs to put into place data protection laws to encourage technology. Political will and regulation cannot be overemphasized, and I agree with the panelists. So that was more a contribution. So we have another question here. What top 5 types of industries do you feel are essential for African development? So what top 5 types of industry do you feel are essential for African development?
Okay, can I come in?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Technology, agriculture, logistics and distribution, supply chain, affordable medical supplies, I'm not too sure about oil, because oil has become a curse for us. So we're giving 4.
So oil is part of it, right?
So if you put all in it, it will be 5. So quickly, I want to give you some few points regarding the agricultural growth and transformation, share, prosperity, and improved livelihoods. The 2019 Agriculture Transformation Scorecard, only Mali, Ghana, Morocco, and Rwanda score above 6 points out of 10. So imagine, only 4 countries have more than 6 points in terms of agriculture transformation. So we need to do more in this sector and talk less. Let's walk the walk.
Gentlemen, please, with your permission, I would like to just to thank some very important partners because of their contribution that we were able to have these Zoom conferences. So I want to really thank the Minister of Labour and Social Security of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea. I want to thank the African Human Resources Confederation. I also want to thank the Ministry of the IQ firm, that's the African Pan-African job portal that provides for free the platform to offer jobs to all Africans all over the world, and they can access very qualified and unqualified job without paying a single penny. So I think we have to really encourage, we're talking about human resources, we have to encourage structures like this. Private companies, they are trying to support government in really providing quality jobs and to ease job access to Africans. So I think we have, I don't know, we're just going to do a last points from each panelist. If you have anything to say, maybe we go do a last round with you.
Thank you very much. We also, personally, I also want to thank the African HR Confederation, IQ Farm and IQ5 Foundation for having us here on board. And also, we want to emphasize the importance of this kind of webinar, this kind of forums, so that as young people can express our views in terms of the development of our continent in our nation. So once again, I want to thank my co-panelists and Mr. Moreto for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Simon Mukete. Thank you, Mr. Alejandro. Thank you, Mr. Tris. I think today I learned a lot about agriculture because I know nothing. I don't really know nothing about agriculture. I think I learned a lot about of us. So I thank you. I thanks IQ Farm to inviting Hitke in this panel. So thank you all.
All right. Thank you, everybody. For me, I like to say it's time to get to work. Let's stop the talk. Let's get to work. The time is now. People always say Africa time has not come. This is our time. This is time to do and do more. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ice Cube. Thank you, everybody. Merci. Adios.
So, gentlemen, I think on behalf of, I also want to thank the founder and CEO of IFM, Madam Yolanda Sumo, who have been doing a wonderful job for so many years, and she has always shown her support for the manpower in Africa. I think putting in place IQ Farm was just to position herself as a solution provider, to try to give a tool into the hands of the young men and women from Africa so that they can access qualified job, because it was becoming very difficult for them to carry 1,000 CV and go all over the world. You know, now with IQ Farm, they can access a lot of companies can get to them without them moving from their home. So I really want to thank Madame Yolanda Somo and all the staff and personnel of IQFAM for making this wonderful project possible and to keep this running and all what we think. I think so. We also have to thank the Minister of Labour. That's a solid partner of IQFAM, and also through the Minister of Labour, the government of Equatorial Guinea, the President and the Vice President, and all the Guineans who are there to make sure that they push Equatorial Guinea as a springboard for Africa, new African development. I also want to thank Mr. Alejandro. I think I had the wonderful opportunity to spend some time with you in a wonderful restaurant somewhere in Malabo. So it was a very wonderful pleasure meeting you. I think I've learned a lot from you guys, and also I want to thank Mr. Marcos. Mr. Marcos is the first time meeting you, but I think with all the expression and the knowledge you guys have put on the table today, we can see that Africa has talent, and we need to believe in our young people and let them and give them the opportunity to express themselves. Mr. Chris, I want to thank you in a very special way on behalf of IQFAM and on behalf of all those who love, who are looking for an alternative development in Africa, especially how the impact, the strength of agriculture, of technology in our agriculture today. I think it was very important to have HITRE on board, because through HITRE, we know that the future is in the technological sector. And we know that more than ever, Equatorial Guinea is ready by putting young people, because I can't believe to see that the assistant general manager of HITRE is a very young man. All of you guys are looking so young. So it means that Africa has to believe in their youth and the strength that they have. So I want to really thank you, because I mean the average age here on the panel is not more than 40. So Alejandro, I know you love when young people are being given the opportunity. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Please, once more, I would like to thank Yolanda Somo. This brilliant project you put in place. It's a project that's very, very important for her to try to provide solutions, to give possibilities for young Africans to get a job and to access quality job, because we have young people, they have qualification, but they can't have the means to link themselves to the job. We know how difficult it is. So I want to thank her and to thank the HR Forum. So it was a very brilliant pleasure for me. I found myself looking so intelligent because of guys. I've been spending some time with very intelligent people. So I can tell my kids I was talking to them with intelligent people. I think it's a pleasure for me to have been the moderator here, to thank all those who are working behind the doors, Arsene Mbote, the public relation agent for IQFAM, Kelly, who is running the office here in Douala, Dr. Kelly, the doctor of the portal. On behalf of everybody, please accept my greetings, accept all my respect, and I was very grateful for me to have this time with you. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you for having us. So we had a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Chris, Marcos, thanks for meeting you guys. It was nice. I had so much fun and I learned a lot from you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.